I know.
What in the world? Aloha, folks. Welcome back to Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour. I got a story for you about cars. I have a lot of cars. I have a 62 Ford Thunderbird, a 61 Econoline pickup. I have a 1960 Oldsmobile, a 1940 Chevy truck, and I can kind of turn the wrench on some of those things, but I have a buddy who is like a downright professional, like owns one of the biggest hot rod and custom shops in Orange County, California. My buddy Matt owns Anaheim Rod and Custom, and he was the dude that painted my Econoline. If you remember my Econoline, I think Bamboo Ben named it the Yeti. It's like this rad metal flake blue fade job, but my buddy Matt came up with that whole paint scheme out of his own head like that. It's so rad. So I'd like to bring my buddy Matt onto the show.
Hello.
Matt, how you doing?
Hi, hello. Good.
Everybody, Matt Means of Anaheim Rod and Custom.
Hello.
See? What did you drive here today?
I drove a 1960 Lincoln Continental Mark V.
Yeah, it's black and basically stock.
It's very original. The exterior paint is original. It has a lot of just stuff that only exists on a car that's never been restored.
Yeah.
I have spent a lot of time messing around with the stuff underneath to make sure that it's going to motivate down the road safely and quickly.
I'm sorry, did you say motivate?
Yeah, motivate.
It's a Chuck Berry thing.
So I've been pushing it in that direction, but everything I do to maintain that originality of that car. That's important to me.
Which is so funny because your other cars are customs and hot rods, right?
Yeah, we've got a muscle car, a 61 Mercury Comet that my wife, Becky, drives.
Would you call that a muscle car?
Yeah, it's a muscle car.
61?
It's got a 1991 Cobra 302 in it, and you drag race. It's got 411 gears and a posi.
So his wife became Miss Moon Eyes because she broke her drive shaft drag racing at the Moon Eyes Christmas thing, right?
Yeah. And well, it might have had a little bit more to do with stuff other than just breaking her axle, but
yeah. Well, she is also very attractive.
Yeah. But she went, yeah, she was in there and she asked me, actually, I've only drag raced a few times, like, what should I try to do here? Like, should I just get in this thing and floor it? Or like, am I supposed to try to, and I told her, I said, you really only have two choices.
Yeah.
You either gonna go down the drag strip kind of slow and easy and see what happens, then do it again, or you just get in there, like you said, and you just floor it.
Jump on it.
And I guess we'll find out which one you pick when you get up to the line.
Yeah.
So she picked the floor it. Instantly broke her axle. And so the engine, she was sitting there and the engine was revving and making a lot of noise, but she wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And so she was a little bit, disappointed with the results there. Let's buy you a new dress. So we went, I think we bought like a pinup girl clothing dress from a vendor there. Red dress. She put it on. She went up to the pinup thing and won. It was crazy because the roller coaster of emotion.
Oh, I'm
sure. She was so happy she was going to drag race, and then she was like, "Oh my gosh, I broke my axle." And then she was up there, and then I won, and she won enough money. We actually used the money from her winning to buy a new axle, new rear end.
Oh, okay.
To strengthen it up.
I remember we had a party at my house here like maybe a decade ago, something like that, and she drove the Comet here.
Yes.
And she was like, hey, Spike, come watch me leave. And I was like, okay, I'll say bye to you or whatever. No, she did the biggest, she was facing this way, and she had to go that way to leave. She did the biggest 180 burnout I've ever seen, ever, and then shot off like a rocket. And I'm not exaggerating. I have a lot of friends that drive very fast. I've never seen anybody take off like that before.
She floors it.
The reason that we were like, we should do an episode together is because you have a new car that you're building specifically for Tiki Oasis.
I actually took my 60 Lincoln to the last Tiki Oasis. And
you won.
I won the car show, which is, I build cars professionally. So you would think that I would be the most excited about like winning the Grand National Roadster Show, but I'll be honest with you, like that's my favorite trophy. Like the Tiki Oasis trophy is on my desk at my shop. You've seen it. It's my favorite trophy. Like, and I have so much just happiness and positivity from that situation, and I love that.
I won Judge's Choice that year.
Yeah.
For the paint job that you put on my truck.
That's true.
Yeah, that was in part, yeah.
I started building my car, Cuban Pete. Cuban Pete is the name.
Cuban Pete?
It's a 1929 Ford Model A.
Okay, so
And
it's a hot rod.
it's a hot rod. It is a hot rod.
Uh-huh.
It would be classified as a very traditional hot rod.
I would say that the color scheme is not traditional in the hot rodding world.
It's possible. The colors are extremely traditional because they're based off of a 1953 Oldsmobile Fiesta.
Right.
Which was like the pinnacle of Oldsmobile styling and pizzazz. And, you know, it was very beautiful. You know, bright teal was one of the choices that they offered with a white or bright salmon orange.
Okay.
And literally the entire interior is bright salmon orange and white. The entire interior of the teal one is teal and white. It's very much that's the color. They were selling that color. I definitely worked hard to introduce those vintage colors in a new way.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to make it new.
So the theme of the hot rod is like a celebration of 1950s Cuba.
Yeah.
So the cocktail that we decided to make for Matt on the show here is the Hemingway Daiquiri. Because we've already done like the La Floridita Daiquiri on the show. The Hemingway Daiquiri is an interesting daiquiri. Supposedly, Hemingway had to use the bathroom. He was walking past La Floridita and he popped in there and he's like, yeah, I gotta use your thing there. And then when he came out, he was like, look at these delicious daiquiris. And he tasted one, he was like, oh, that's pretty good. And then he said, I would like twice the rum and no sugar.
Yeah.
And that's the evolution of the Hemingway Daiquiri. In his time at La Floridita, Hemingway was said to have held the record for drinking 16 daiquiris himself in one sitting.
Are we gonna try to beat that record tonight?
Yes. I think also people called them the Hemingway Special, La Floridita number 4, and then my favorite, Papa Doble.
Yeah.
Which ties into your license plate you're putting on Cuban Pete.
Yes.
And what exactly is that license plate gonna say?
Poppy Cho.
And what does Poppy Cho mean?
Hot dad. It's just like again, I mean, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Now I see all these weird new cars and the women, it says hot mom or, you know, MILF or whatever, you know, it says all this weird stuff and I laugh at it and it's really tongue in cheek. And I thought, you know what, I'll do my own thing to me that's funny to me. It's tongue in cheek. And it's like, I'm a dude in a teal and salmon orange hot rod with a bright orange shirt and it says hot dad, but nobody knows that's what it says because it says it in Haitian Creole.
And for this cocktail, we will be using white grapefruit, lime juice, maraschino liqueur, and white rum. We're gonna be using the Hamilton White Stash rum that was specifically formulated for daiquiris. Okay, do you wanna cut a lime in half?
Yeah. Is that knife dull?
It's super not dull.
Okay. I know, these are great knives.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so what we need is 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice per cocktail.
Okay.
So squeeze away. That's the way I do it too. I put that thing right down on top. So we need to be at 1.5 ounces for 2 cocktails. So we probably need another lime. Maybe just a hair more.
1.5, yeah.
Yeah. So don't kill this one. Just a little drizzler. Sheesh. That's good. 1.5 ounces of lime juice for 2 cocktails. 1/2 ounce per cocktail of maraschino liqueur. Have you ever smelled this stuff?
Yeah.
What does that smell like to you?
Sweet, very, very sweet cherries.
Kind of a horrible smell.
It's pungent.
We need 1/2 ounce of maraschino liqueur per cocktail, so 1 ounce. Pour away, sir. Okay. Dude, I poured the lime juice into the wrong thing. The lime juice. So you want to make your drinks in the glass, like in the glass thing.
Yeah.
And then you pour it into the tin. Neither of us are professionals. So I have some bad news. I have a white grapefruit tree that hangs over from my neighbor's yard over here. And that's where I get my glorious white grapefruits. This is the last white grapefruit, and it wasn't hanging over into my side of the yard. I climbed up on my fence and reached over like an orangutan, and I grabbed this thing, and it was the last one. They don't want them. They told me they don't eat these things. It's a good one.
It's beautiful. Kissed by the sun.
Exactly. Kissed by the sun. Let's cut it in half, and hopefully we don't use it all so I can refrigerate the other half. And then what I do with this is I usually hand squeeze these things. So I'm just gonna go ahead and squeeze 1 ounce of grapefruit juice out of here. And they have so much juice in them too. I mean, really, we could probably make 4 of these things. So 1 ounce of white grapefruit juice, 1/2 ounce per cocktail. So there's that. And then what do we need?
We
Okay.
definitely need rum.
So Hemingway said, hey dudes at La Floridita, I don't want the normal serving of rum, which was, I guess, 1 ounce per cocktail. He's like, I would like to double that because he...
Papa doble.
Yeah. So we need 4 ounces of white rum. Don't know if we have it in the bottle.
Well, let's see.
Okay.
We'll just wait, cross our fingers. I think we got it.
Okay.
I think that was 2 exactly.
Okay, 2 ounces of white rum there, and 2 more.
Come on, big money, big money.
Oh,
We did it.
look at how much is left.
Yeah, it's perfect.
There we go. That is the Hemingway daiquiri. So what we're gonna do is we are going to throw some ice into the tin here, and these are ice cubes. Normally we use crushed ice, but when you're shaking to chill something, you don't want to add a ton of water, so you kind of want some bigger ice pieces. We will go ahead and do that. Give it a little bit of a smack, and would you like to do the honors?
No problem. I like to keep shaking till I actually feel like my hand is freezing to the glass.
Is it freezing to the glass?
Almost.
Okay.
I should probably go a little bit longer.
Okay, so there's a technique in making daiquiris or even martinis that, holy, what did you do?
Sorry.
Oh my God. There we go. You get scared because you hear about people breaking glasses too. There's a technique in pouring something up. You gate the finish, but then also use a fine mesh strainer to finish the cocktail. It helps with the mouthfeel and you don't get any ice chunks in there. And some people say that they like ice chunks in their martinis, and I don't know what to say about that.
I'm confused as to why anyone would want to drink in Cuba without ice.
Oh.
But I'm not, not Cuban. And I've never been there. So
True.
I can only imagine. They must have just shaken it and drinking it so quickly that it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's really what was happening. Because that's the only way you could drink 16. What did he drink?
16.
16 of them. You'd have to just shoot them.
So for the garnish, we are going to slice a lime.
If you don't, you curl your fingers away, right? And slice straight down, right? And stabilize the back of your hand, right? So you can go through it. And if you do slip, you won't actually cut your fingers.
And Papa Cho over here. We will give a little slit to this guy, and then you can put this guy on the rim of your glass.
I think you want to twist a little bit and pop it on, right?
Oh.
You just pop it on.
I kind of just popped mine on, but I like your twist maneuver.
Apparently, the man that invented the Hemingway daiquiri was considered to be like the cocktail king of Cuba.
Oh, he's the guy that actually invented the daiquiri also.
Okay.
What was the dude? Do you remember the dude's name? We talked about him when we did the daiquiri, the La Floridita daiquiri.
Constantino Ribadiagua. I don't feel like I'm saying that correctly.
So, from the 1930s, from Ernest Hemingway at the La Floridita bar in Havana, Cuba, this is the Hemingway daiquiri.
So can I try it?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
totally.
Cheers.
Cheers. Sorry, our glasses don't match.
That's good. You don't like it?
That is pungent, potent, abrasive.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It's smooth.
Get out of here.
I like the acidity and I like the bitterness from the grapefruit.
You can taste a lot of the grapefruit in there.
Yeah.
Let me give it another shot here.
If you're looking for a sweet drink, this is not a sweet drink.
Whew.
But
No.
if you enjoy things that aren't tart but are slightly bitter,
Yeah.
it has body to it from other flavors. Like it's pretty light in that sense.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's a great drink. But I like stuff that's sour over sweet.
I would say that the Hamilton White Stash probably helps this cocktail a bunch. It's a great rum, so it helps smooth it out a little bit. But man, oh man, the grapefruit juice and the lime juice, and the maraschino liqueur. This drink is screaming for some simple syrup.
Well, yeah.
But Hemingway was like, I don't have time for sugar.
Yeah, he probably didn't want to drink all that sugar.
No, if he would have had,
16 of these with 2 tablespoons of sugar in each one of them.
Yeah, I think somebody did the math.
That would have been.
And I think it was like 2 cups of sugar. It's not a cocktail I wouldn't order. I might not go out of my way for it, but you have to be in a place in your life that you really want a tart drink.
I would order it. Because I like stuff without, I'll take sugar out of stuff.
Okay.
Because I like, you know, I feel like I get enough sugar already. So, I mean, like, if you don't like Sour Patch Kids, this probably isn't a drink that you'd enjoy because it is sour. It kind of tastes like a grapefruit Sour Patch Kid.
It does taste like a 1930s cocktail. Like, it's nuanced. It tastes like those cocktails where once you have a couple of these things, you go, yeah, that's the best drink I've ever had.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't hate it. Like, I wouldn't be bummed if somebody brought me that cocktail, but I also wouldn't be ecstatic.
It's 100% what I feel like a daiquiri would taste like.
Yeah, but have you had like a daiquiri?
Yeah, I always thought that they were too sweet because people didn't know how to make drinks.
Oh, really?
Whenever I got a daiquiri, I was like, ooh, that's really sweet. Like,
oh,
really?
Like too sweet.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Oh, that's really? That's
so then maybe that's the perfect drink for you.
Probably.
Because it's like...
But like told you that one of my favorite drinks is just Mount Gay rum and grapefruit juice. So...
I mean, that's pretty close to what we're doing here.
Pretty much that with a little bit of lime.
And maraschino liqueur, yeah. That's interesting.
Oh, your lime's really tart. Isn't this shit like super sweet?
Hey, man. What are you yelling at? What, are you just gonna drink some maraschino liqueur now?
It's like burnt cotton candy.
Yum. All right, so wait, so this is maraschino liqueur. Oh God, what the? Yeah, burnt cotton candy. You're totally. Oh God. You're totally right.
Burnt cotton candy.
Burnt cotton candy.
Yeah.
It's like a hobo clown was barbecuing outside of his caravan or whatever you call it.
He made some cotton candy right in the barbecue.
Yeah, and he put it out on a stick. That's what it tastes like, burnt cotton candy from a hobo clown. So folks, thank you so much for joining us once again on Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour. I would love to thank my buddy Matt Means from Anaheim Rod and Custom for joining us here. And if you see him at Tiki Oasis or if you see him around, say hi to him and say I'm a fan of the Breezeway Cocktail Hour and whatever you want to say to him. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you aren't already, and join the Patreon. And I guess we'll see you next time. Aloha. Aloha.
Aloha.
One of the biggest car. So the reason that we were like, we should do an I'm sorry, I couldn't stop laughing over the Poppy Cho shit. We did half an ounce of maraschino. What the hell, man? Real quick before you go on, you do have a couple of like record numbers that came out of your shop, price-wise.
Yeah, I do cars for wealthy people that you don't really know. They're not movie stars.
Oh, right.
There are more people that you could possibly hear about. Like one of our clients invented Crocs.
Crocs?
But most of the time, they're kind of like private projects that are never really even released to the public. It's a little bit strange for us because we don't build cars that end up like on the front of Hot Rod magazine.
Right.
They go into a private collection and you don't see them.
Sure.
The benefit of that is that we do have an opportunity to build extremely nice cars.
Right.
We've built a Jaguar XKE 1967 Series 1.5. It was a full frame off restoration. It was black with a camel interior. It ended up selling even before we were done for like $275,000, which for a car that has no celebrity status or no history, it's not a race car, it's just an XKE, that's a lot of money.
But you also painted it bright red.
That was a different one.
Oh, that was a different one?
Yeah. So I did one that was bone stock.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I did later on, I did another one, which is probably, it hasn't been sold.
Right.
But it was appraised at like 300 or 350. And that has candy red over Orion Silvermax with rainbow microflake. But that's a full custom.
Like the most gorgeous paint job you've ever seen on a Jaguar.
Thank you.
People just don't do those kinds of colors on a Jaguar.
No, it was very sacrilegious. And you know, we did like a Porsche 356, again, like a 356B. It's not a particularly, you know, maybe 100,000, 120,000 if they're really nice.
Yeah.
And I think that thing sold for $275. We did Tucker number 41, and I think it was appraised at like $6.5 million. And most Tuckers are between $2 and $3 million. I feel, you know, a lot of validity for my team
Yep.
and my business when I see something that we build together.
That's incredible.
Really like get pushed to that high of a level. I wish it was a little bit more like something that other people could see.
But I think probably the greatest vehicle you ever worked on was the 1961 Ford Econoline that was painted. What was the color?
Asteroid Green.
Was that the color we named
That was
it?
the first name for it. It was Asteroid Green.
Yeah.
Because it was very alkaline. It was very much like this drink. Right? It was green and shimmery. I mean,
it's
to
kind
me,
of blue.
Yeah, to me, it looked like what an alloy would do when it entered the atmosphere. You know?
Right.
So that's why I felt like it was like Asteroid Green was a good name for that color. Well, the color of his Econoline is composed of Strato Blue, Lunar Yellow, and Orion Silver.
Yeah.
So
very spacey.
They're all space colors. So again, you just got to go and follow through with that and just say it's Asteroid Green.
Yeah. And I got a dog named Astro. I love 1960s space.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Cuban Pete though.
I had all these projects and I was like, I got to pick one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to focus on creating something that is an expression of, that I'm inspired by.
Right.
It's an expression of me. And I ended up having parts. I had a frame, I had a body, I had an engine, I had a front end, I had a rear end.
Right.
I had enough to construct a car. I sold anything else I didn't need to start the project. And then started building this. And as I was building this, I was actually just at my friend's restaurant, of all places, in Anaheim. And I go in the restroom and there's like a travel poster. It said, fly to Cuba. And it had like a dude like sitting on the letters, and and the letters were bright blue and bright orange. And I was looking at this thing and I was so interested in what I was seeing there, It was so 1959.
Yeah. And that's kind of the allure of Tiki also, where you go, oh my God, I love a certain graphic or carving transports you.
Yeah.
It's cool.
The escapism that I felt at that moment. And at least what I imagined it would be in my mind. I didn't really know.
So you've never been to Cuba before?
There's no possible way I could ever go to Cuba in 1958 or 1956. And I mean, just like as if...
there's still a Trader Vic's there.
Really? I was inspired enough that I started kind of exploring the idea of what Cuba was about in 1959, 1958, 1957.
Yep.
I'm a big 1959, 1960 has always been like the magic years for me. I'm so inspired.
For everybody.
Yeah, I'm so inspired by those years. And just my car's in 1960, Becky's car's in 1961, our house is in 1957. But, Frank Sinatra was there. Hemingway was there, and I believe that Errol Flynn filmed his final movie in 1959 in Cuba. So you have almost like a Las Vegas,
right,
and the French Riviera, or like Las Vegas and Florida. I wanted a vehicle of escapism. And so
a literal vehicle of escapism.
A literal
amazing
vehicle of escapism.
Yeah.
I wanted the car itself to transport you somewhere. It's a little bit of a new idea. It is art to me. I'm doing it as art. I'm not. It's all tongue in cheek. I'm not claiming to know anything or be some kind of expert or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is literally just an interpretation of a feeling that I got about something.
Totally.
And my expression of that feeling. Like Cuban Pete, he works at a casino in Havana. He's sitting there, he sees the cars coming in, the Oldsmobiles, the Cadillacs, the Lincolns. He sees these cars, he sees these colors, the 53 Fiesta, I'm sure they had one there.
Right.
There had to be somebody in Havana who had a 53 Fiesta.
Right.
So he saw these and he was inspired. He had his old Model A, it was kind of a jalopy, but he was making good money at the casino. Or making good money as a bartender by the pool, who knows? And he thought to himself, well, I will soup up my hot rod and I will make it into something that emulates those cars. My whole premise of what I'm trying to do here and what I was trying to build is the idea of everything's got to be something that you could have got in Cuba at that time. It's got to be apart from another car.
Yeah.
It can't be something that is modern or something that you make now. And I really focused in on that. The body is a steel 1929 Ford body. It's a 1929 Ford frame. Like a lot of the stuff that you see with hot rods where they take like a 32 frame and the 29 body, that's like later.
Yeah.
The big 60s engines that you'll see. the overhead valve V8s and stuff. They were brand new cars in 1955 and 1956.
Yeah.
People weren't like buying a brand new car and taking an engine out of it. That really happened like in the 60s. But they were, like you said, they were putting like a 41 Ford flathead. Well, they would go to the junkyard and there would be a 41 Ford there.
Right, yeah.
That was 15 years old at that point, maybe wrecked.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that they could get that motor cheap enough. The whole car is traditionally constructed with that dropped straight axle front end, split wishbones, 1941 Ford transmission, did open drive conversion, it's got a banjo rear end. It's all super traditional. The idea was that like this guy, he doesn't know, he doesn't have any car magazines. His inspiration is coming from these cars that he sees. So he doesn't know, so he's not gonna go like, I'm supposed to paint my hot rod black.
Right, yeah.
Or I'm supposed to paint, he's gonna be like, I wanna paint my hot rod like this 1953 Olds Fiesta. And I love those colors, and that was what I honed in on.
I gotta say, when you shared the colors with me, I said in my brain, you are out of your mind. And I tell you, I've seen it a couple times now, and every time I see it, I go, that's an amazing looking car.
Thank you.
It's super fun. It's a hot rod with a humor, but not in the wrong way, not in the way that you would go, this is a joke.
Yeah.
Because it's a very serious car.
Yeah.
But it's just having a good time. It's had some daiquiris.
It's had 16 Baba Dobles. When I was mixing the color, I try to mix color by feel. And I try to be inspired by the emotions that I feel when I'm mixing color.
Right.
Which is it may sound strange, but I'll start with a color family or a color group that I'm looking for, and I'll literally be back there adding color and looking at it and really focusing on what I'm feeling at that time. There's a couple things that I wanted. Number one, I wanted people to be interested or inspired by this car that had never seen a car before in their life.
Right.
I know that sounds strange. I think a lot of people in the hot rod world build cars to make their friends happy. I wanted to build cars that, because I wanted to get people that weren't interested in vintage cars, interested in vintage cars.
Yeah.
I wanted them to see that car and go, what is this? What's happening? I've never seen something like this before.
Yep.
But at the same time, be introduced into the very traditional idea of what a hot rod is.
Totally.
So it's like a Cliff Notes introduction. It even extends to the way that I painted the items on the vehicle itself. I purposely colored bolts and other items like a different color to make them actually more visible.
Right.
So you could see how it was constructed.
Interesting.
Instead of just chroming everything and getting it kind of to melt together.
Yeah.
Where you can't see its mechanical nature.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting to me to kind of focus on that.
Amazing.
So that people would come up that hadn't seen a car like that and go like, what is that? What am I looking at? And I could go, that's a shock.
I did that with you. You're putting in the windshield or something, and I was looking down at the transmission housing, and there was like a big different color thing. And I was like, why is that thing painted a different color? Like, why don't you just spray it the same color? And then that literally made you go, oh, that's, well, that does this thing.
Yeah.
What was that thing?
It's the cover that allows you to align the clutch when you're installing the transmission. It's about learning. Building cars, if you're not learning every day, you're not doing it the right way.
Right.
I've owned a lot of cars, be it a hot rod or a rat rod or a custom or a sled or whatever. You know, I've had them, but I've never created something that I was like, this is me.
Yeah.
I created this as art to share with the world, to get people interested in what I'm doing. Yeah. And to kind of show them what I am motivated by.
Totally. Yeah, because it's so funny because Matt has like the most unorthodox hot rod shop. When you go into his shop, it's like the lights are all low and you go, what are the people slow dancing here? And then the music's all like Exotica and like Esquivel and stuff like that. And it's so, you go into most hot rod shops and it's either like psychobilly or classic rock or whatever, but it's a weird thing, but it feels like home to me. Yeah,
we have, 3 movie screens, got a bar, we have theater seats that roll around. What we're looking for is like a healthy balance between getting yourself prepared to be creative and to be focused and doing the work, And so we focus a lot on organization and cleanliness, and also just stopping and having a good time. Let's make a papadoble, let's have a good time. Like for a moment, sit back. It really gives my guys and girls in my team a chance to talk to each other and communicate, and for us to kind of look beyond the daily grind of just trying to get this project done.
Yeah, sure.
And actually give our clients something more. I think that ability to create even escapism in my shop is really helped because my team does come there. They are more relaxed and they are more ready to share their ideas with me and give me more feedback that actually pushes our product to a much higher level.
Okay, so we are going to... This dog. Got that. In Havana, Cuba, excuse me.
We're halfway there.
So Bon Jovi of you. Okay, let me give it another shot. What the f?
Taste the feeling. That's the what? Taste the feeling.
Taste. So what does it mean to you to like finish this car in time for Tiki Oasis, to drive this thing down the 5 freeway, down Coast Highway with the water and the ocean and everything, with your beautiful wife, all the way down to Tiki Oasis?
I mean, Tiki Oasis is really something that has given me a lot of happiness in my life. But my ultimate goal is that I am going to be transported. It's like finding something that transports you somewhere else.
Right.
And that car, to me, when I look at it, just like when you look at it too, you know, it really does. It has a happiness, a brightness, an interest. And it really feels like not only am I going to drive it there, I'm going to end up in some place that I didn't expect to end up.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I want for anybody who jumps in that car with me. I want them to experience the wind in their hair. It's got a rumble seat, the people waving, and you know, just the whole idea that it's literally going to transport you somewhere else. And I'm going to pull up to Tiki Oasis and I'm going to come into this place and be in a new place that wasn't where I was before.
I think some of the best times I've had at Tiki Oasis, I drove there in my Econoline, and it was the same kind of thing because the whole drive there is like a journey.
Yeah.
It was like driving to Viva Las Vegas in a hot rod or something. It's like you are earning your trip there. It's a different thing than people that drive there in a station wagon or a minivan or a
When you go
SUV.
through, like, you almost go through a change in weather. Humidity changes, the smell of the air changes. Like, you literally go from like a semi-arid Orange County climate to when you get there, it's like wet,
right?
You know, and you can smell like it's a tropical kind of feel. You know, I want to get out of Cuban Pete, and I want to be in Cuba in 1959. I know I won't, but I'm going to dream about that.
And I think that's what's so great about Tiki and the escapism of Tiki is that that's what we're all trying to do. Yeah. We're all just trying to transport to this other time that was maybe more innocent and more mysterious.
I wanted that combination of looking forward and looking back. I wanted something that wasn't defined by something that's already been established.
Totally.
You know,
I think you accomplished it with that car. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and that's what I'm pushing for even right now. Is I don't want somebody to go like, oh, this is something that we've already seen, or you're taking something that somebody's already done.
I don't think anybody's seen this car before.
That's what I want. I want them to say, okay, this is a fresh look. This is something new that inspires me in a new way.
Yeah,
but yet has history.
Right,
and it has you know, a classiness. I'm definitely more interested in that idea of like what Frank Sinatra was,
right,
or what Ernest Hemingway was. They were classy people.
Yeah,
they were classy guys. They drove a 1960 Lincoln Continental Mark V,
which is so funny because a hot rod isn't typically a classy car. Like customs were for like people with the money, and hot rods were for teenagers and like, you know, doing burnouts and stuff. It's like an interesting mix. You know,
I pushed really hard on the car to be a touring car.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so all of the things, when you look at a traditional hot rod, like you see like a rat rod, or you see like a highboy or a roadster, and they're all done for like short course. You know, you drive 20 miles. You're done. Even though I'm not running a hood, I'm not running hood sides. That is a little risky. I did get like air cleaners that are like a bonnet. You know, they kind of like will deflect water away.
Oh, sure.
I'm going to make like a snap-on engine cover just in case it starts raining.
Yeah.
But I built every aspect of that car. Like it's going to have a full interior. It has heated seats. It's got a convertible top that pulls up. You know, it's got a rumble seat in the back. Like, it's a car with the intention of, like, moving a family from one place to the other, which is very obscure as an idea of what you would ever do with a Roadster.
Yeah.
It's like building, a hardtail with a sidecar.
Right.
Like, it almost like, it really doesn't match.
A hardtail with a sidecar.
Right? I mean, it's like, you know, and that's kind of what I was doing.
I don't know that a lot of car builders think that deep into
Probably not.
the story behind their car.
Some people like say that, it just has to be a certain way, and
right.
I agree. But a lot of the stuff that kind of came about as the car was being created was really just almost accidental.
But most of the things that you did in the car are actually really traditional.
Yeah.
Like they're very traditional. You've just done a couple of little things that make it not such like a teenage drag strip car.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's kind of cool because it plays into the story. And
Cuban Pete, he wouldn't know like what a drag strip is. He's more interested in like these luxury cars and kind of translating that into his hot rod. You drank all this already?
What do you think about corks?
I don't know. That's not a real cork.
No, but it's basically a cork.
I think I prefer them over Twist.
That's all I can ask for. What are you drinking? Just some White Stash?
Yeah.
What's your favorite tiki bar?
Oh, you don't want to know. You'd be so offended.
What's your favorite tiki bar?
Marlin Bar.
Marlin Bar?
Tommy Bahamas.
What are you talking about? That's not a tiki
the
bar.
best Mai Tai there.
Oh, get out of here.
They put it in a Slurpee machine.
Oh, come on.
And they
You don't want me to put this online. People will excoriate you.
comes out of a slushy machine.
What? The thing is that you know what a correct Mai Tai is.
I know. It tastes. I think it's great.
It probably tastes great.
It does.
I would be hesitant to call it a Mai Tai.
I don't know. I think it's close. They put pineapple juice in it, which is not right.
Okay, we're already off the page.
No. Probably my favorite tiki bar. I've had a lot of good times at the Golden Tiki
Oh, Vegas.
in Vegas.
Okay. Golden Tiki is newer, but it's probably still like, what, 6 years old or something by now? Our friend Sabina Kelly is a bartender there once in a while.
Really?
Super pinup model. Supermodel pinup model? Super pinup model, supermodel. Super.
I think that's right. Pinup model, supermodel. No, a super pinup model. Pinup supermodel?
She's like the first most gorgeous pinup model there was.
First new school.
Yeah, first new school. Yeah, I was there one night on, I think it was Halloween or something, and Jello Biafra from Dead Kennedys was DJing.
Oh, wow.
It was cool. He was playing all kinds of weird stuff from Exotica to Rockabilly to
Yeah.
What do you like about the Golden Tiki?
The food has always been good when I've gone there.
Oh, you get food there.
Yeah.
There's
you ever
food
got
there?
food there?
Wow. All right.
They have food there, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I've eaten food there.
What, are you gonna order
Am
something?
I tripping right now?
I don't think DoorDash will order here.
Okay, yeah, they have great food there.
We had 5 ounces of rum.
That's nothing.
It's like Ed Hamilton standing next to me. Oh, we only had 3 drinks. It's like, yeah, 3 doubles.
Papa Doble. I wanted a vehicle of
Transportation.
Wait, what did I say? I wanted.
I'm sorry. These doughboys will f you up, man. Holy smokes. So what does it mean for you to get? So what does it mean for you? Jesus. How's that mustache doing?
It's good. I never had a mustache until I had children, and then all of a sudden I grew a mustache. And now my children have only seen me with a mustache, and I'm like, I'm gonna shave my mustache off, and they're like, no, don't shave your mustache off.
My dad did that once and came down the stairs, and I was like, who's this monster?
I understand that.
Junebug. Junebug. Wait, it's July. Off. Wait, what?
Where is it? Is it going in my shirt and my mouth? Oh. So I hope that Spike includes this into his show. But I just want to say how much of an inspiration that he has been to me and what he's been doing here. His breezeway bar, his house is incredible. Use of color. He has got all the right vintage accoutrements. And just the show. I mean, the show just really is something that I enjoy. And I love to watch. I love the fact that he asked me to be a part of it is just absolutely mind-boggling. I don't even understand how or why he would want me to be a part of this, but I appreciate it. And it's definitely makes me feel like all the work that I've put into my car is worth it.
What are you talking about?
What?